Australia, Maggie's here from Australia. She's excited. Kerry from Leicestershire, feeling open. We've got quite a lot of people who are live here today. So just want to celebrate you for doing that because I know how hard it is to put these things in your diary. We've also got it going out on replay as well. Caroline, yay, from Botswana. Hello, darling. Lindsay from Wales. She's come back in to get some motivation. Bogalaka from Birmingham, Kirsty busy with a toddler from Dorset, Sarah from Yorkshire, pooped but very excited, Gina from Ireland, I don't know how you're feeling today, that's fine, let's see what happens. Bernie saying she's in Watford and she's looking for some motivation to get back on track. Amazing, so keep popping in there with your how you're feeling, right. Katie, south coast of England. Leanne, needing some motivation. January's dragging me down. Okay. All right. Well, I've got loads of motivation. I've got loads of energy for you all this morning because I'm talking about my very favorite subject in the whole entire world. Amy, good morning. I'm in the Midlands, feeling intrigued to find out more. So I'm talking about my favorite subject in the world, which is creative visioning. So creating what you want to share with the world from your unique gifts, expression, and medicine that only you have. So that is something which I've been doing for the last 20 years and is absolutely key to every single aspect of your life. So that's one of the things that I absolutely love. And then the second thing, which I've been devoted to for the last 20 years, is the village and recreating the village. So at the time of recording this, I don't know about how you guys are feeling, but there is a lot of heaviness in the world. There are lots of things going on in the world that really require us to speak our truth, stand in the light, stand up for each other, to care for each other and look at where we're causing harm, whether it's to people, whether it's in wars, whether it's conflict, whether it's to the planet. Right now, there's a big rally call for visionary leaders like yourself to step up and to serve community and to bring people together, because at the end of the day, what really matters is how much we loved and cared for each other. That's what I believe. There's no amount of wealth, there's no amount of material things that can ever substitute for the deep care that you receive from authentic connection with others. And that is what Blossom and Berry is all about. And obviously what we're doing is we're starting at the very beginning with babies, because the first relationship that you have with your baby is the one that nourishes your baby, because your baby is the seed of potential. All babies are a seed of potential if you haven't got your own baby, or if if you're thinking of birthing creative ideas, everything that exists is a seed of potential that we put inside the soil, whether it is in a relationship with a parent or carer, in a relationship with another person, in relationship to your community and the world. And it's how we nurture that seed that really creates abundance and prosperity for all. And I really believe this. I really, truly believe that human beings, we're here to help everybody thrive, not just survive, but to thrive. And that's part of the reason why Blossom and Berry is set up the way that it is, in that you're with us for life. You're an everlasting student, teacher, friend, family member for life, because I believe that if we support each other, we can all reach our full potential, and that ripples out in our mantra, love creates love. So the reason why I put this together for you today is because the reason why you're here is because the term village visionary must have resonated with you. Put in the box if when you saw that you thought that sounds interesting. I'm resonating with that a little bit, like it's had a little bit of an emotional charge and you thought, yeah, that sounds interesting. So Marta is saying, yes, this is my soul's calling. Amazing. Julie's saying yes. Leanne says yes, this is where you want to be. Kerry says yes, I would love a village. That's actually making me cry, Kerry, because that's so beautiful. Lindsay's saying this sounds really interesting. So if you're here, it means that you are yeah, this is what your signature is, that you're here to be a community leader, you want to create the village. And so you can, you know, this is the thing, this is why it's called the Village Visionary. By activating your the vision and intention you have, this will come into creation, because we're powerful creators. And you know, I'm going to share some stories of how I've created over the last 20 years to give you you know, evidence that anything is possible. I promise you, anything is possible when you set the intention and you show up and you bring it into reality by balancing all the different aspects of yourself, so that you consistently show up in a way that feels good and does good. Okay, this is the two things. There's no point in doing loads of things for people if it doesn't make you feel good, or you get depleted. So this is also very important when you're doing this work, when you're an empath and when you're in deep service, is you've got to look after yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get depleted. And from someone who's been doing this for 23 years, I also have my own charitable project that supports parents and babies in Malawi. I've got 3 adult children, but at one time I had 3 children under 3.5. I know how to balance my own little village, my own family, and the wider village as well. And obviously all of you guys who are in my global village. So I really want to share this with you. And it all comes from the heart. Everything you'll see, I don't have any notes or anything like that. Everything that I always share in these masterclasses is just channeled. It just comes through me, and it's based on my embodied lived experience. And that's my gift to you, is to share that. And I feel very grateful that you're here to be able to do that with me today. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide up the session into, like, the first part is looking at, like, what is the village? Like, why does the village matter? What does the village mean to you? And then the second part is going to be how to be the village visionary. So that's about stepping into leadership. It's about activating your intention. It's about having the courage to believe in yourself to actually do this, because you can. I just want to say I totally and utterly 100% believe in you, and I 100% totally support you as well, because the more I support people like you, the more parents and carers are supported, the more babies and children are supported. And this is what Love Creates Love is all about. It is not a fancy tagline. It is an embodied mission that I've been on for the last 22 years, and have had the great pleasure and joy to share it with our global family of over 2,000 teachers. And I'll be sharing a bit more about how I was literally where you are right now, thinking, I really want to do this, but I've got no time, no money, no energy, 3 children under 3.5, no experience. And at the time, there was no smartphones, there was no social media, there was no Google, there was nothing. So it was just me sitting on my own in my house in Essex going, I really want to change the world. I really want to rebuild the village. I want to nurture the future one baby at a time, but I've basically got very little to work with. So wherever you are, and whatever you have, let me tell you, you have unlimited potential to do this. And it's so exciting. It's so exciting because the joy that you get from fulfilling your reason for being here on this earth and bringing deep care into the planet is what life, in my opinion, is all about. So that's what we're going to do. Now, also, I love to celebrate and gift as well. I'm a super generous person. So I've got a copy of my book, which is called Mother of Transformation, which I wrote earlier this year. So if you'd like a copy of this book, which is really like more detail about like my story of how I transformed from being an anxious, had loads of social anxiety, blushing complex, worked in a job that I absolutely hated, felt miserable, lonely, depressed, to having my children, and then transforming numerous times through different phases of my life, from my charity, through Blossom and Berry, through mentoring, through all sorts of things. So if you'd like a copy of that book for free, all you need to do is just mention that you've been on this masterclass with us today on social, and then just screenshot that and send it to us on our social with your email, and we will email this to you today so everyone can have a free copy of this book. It's really, really cool, and I love it. It's another one that I wrote very quickly, but it's almost like a little it's not like a full book. It's almost like a magazine, you know, that you can, it's just dedicated to being a village visionary, because it is my story. Right, okay, so first of all, I'd love it if you could put in the chat box what the village means to you, like in one word. What is one word that a village means to you? What would you like to create when you think about the village that you want to build? That'd be really cool. Connection, support, community, community support, loving support, connection, unitedness, alignment, holding each other, cuddle, friendship and support, kinship, friendship. Oh, I love this. The village I want to create is for a nourishing community. Lovely, amazing. Nurturing space. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps reading all of these. Wonderful, wonderful people. Community where everyone feels safe to be themselves and connect. Held. Wonderful. This is brilliant. Okay, so I'll keep coming back to see what's going in the chat box. But yeah, so you put together a lot of the principles of the village. Now, what I want to say to you, first of all, is the fact that you desire these things is because you're a human being. Because human beings are social creatures, we are born to live in community, and we actually regulate our nervous system by being with other human beings. So our nervous systems are co-regulated, and things that we might take for example for granted that are co-regulation are like eye contact, actually having conversations with people in real time, like smelling other people, hugging other people, like all of our sense, basically everything we can receive through our senses helps to ground our nervous system. And as human beings, as mammals, we are biologically designed to get that regulation from being together. Now, a really good example of how a lot of us realized this was during COVID when we went into social isolation. And people, like if you were lucky enough to, be living with a family or, in a bubble, you might have still been receiving interaction with other people. But actually, there was a lot of people who literally spent 6 months alone. And what that studies have shown is that isolation and not feeling part of a community is more dangerous to our health than obesity and smoking, because it depresses our body, it doesn't bring us joy, and it puts our body under pressure because we're not receiving those feel-good hormones that are released when we're together. And that main hormone is oxytocin. And if you know about parent and baby wellness, you'll know that oxytocin is the hormone of love. It's the hormone of altruism. And so when we're in the absence of oxytocin, which is basically when we're in the absence of any type of kind of sensory integration with other people, then it puts us into a less motivated state. And then when we're less motivated, we sleep less, we eat less, we go into our heads, and then we can start to get things like anxiety. And really what we're seeing, even outside of COVID, is across the world, so many people are feeling like this. So many people are feeling more connected through phones and less connected to life, because what we're getting from phones is very quick snapshots of other people's lives, whether they're real life or not real life, and our brains are overwhelmed, and we're not getting any of the sense of grounded feeling in our nervous system. We're actually in our heads scrolling, comparing, thinking, I should be doing that, I should be doing that, I should be doing that. When we come into the village, which is what we're designed to do, is to meet and gather and play together and create together and eat together and do all of these things, our nervous system just relaxes. We don't need to do anything when we're in the company of other people, because we're experiencing this co-regulation, which is like the giant love bubble that holds us all together. So where we are disconnected from each other in real life, it is actually causing a huge rise in anxiety. And people are trying to work out why. And you may have also noticed there's a huge uplift in things like breath work and yoga and all of these things, which is basically human beings trying to fix themselves from the main thing that we're all missing, which is rooted, grounded connection. And in a really, the biggest study of mental health and well-being of humans across the world, the number one thing that when people were asked that they would like to receive as a human being is connection. And many of you have put put that into this group this morning, that that's what you see the village as. And that's what I would say the underpinning real value of the village is connection. It's that no one gets left behind, that there's space for all, that everyone is welcome, that you can come as you are. All right. Now, part of the reason we're feeling like that, as I said, is because of the world that we've constructed, where there's competition, there's separation, there's expectation, there's comparison, there's all of these things that are going on. So we have to reclaim our power and remember what it is that we want because of who we are. And that means that you get this opportunity to be the village visionary, to lead this with love. And leadership starts with self-leadership. So the very fact that you are here now, because you've been called here because you know that you want this for you want this for your children, you want this for your community, and you want to see a more connected world, because you're probably either seeing other people around you suffering from things like anxiety or overwhelm or stress, or you might be feeling it yourself. And so this is the medicine that we are offering. The village is the medicine. And in doing this work, we're going to raise the value of the village so that people actually understand that it's not the money that makes us happy. It's not the possessions. It's not, how big your house is or anything like that. I know people who are millionaires who are still searching and looking and still feeling empty because they haven't got the authentic, grounded connection. So the village is not a new thing. It's the old way. It's the forever way. It's just what we are designed to receive as human beings, as mammals. So across the world, in Indigenous societies, so the word Indigenous society, sometimes people think of like specific societies across the world, but basically we're all indigenous to a land. So me personally, I'm Indigenous to the UK, to Great Britain, but a few generations back I was Indigenous to the Ukraine. So everyone has a sense of place that they belong. And again, this is very important for human beings to feel grounded and centered in this. When we don't have a sense of place and connection, we drift and we don't know where we are because we don't have roots. And if you think about nature, the first thing that happens in nature is a seed puts down its roots. So in order to thrive and grow and to expand and create abundance for all, we have to put down the roots, and those roots are the village. So in Indigenous cultures, that still exist across the world now, there's still a focus on this. And there's still real honouring of each individual person within a community for their unique medicine, for what the gifts that they bring, for making sure that all parts of the family and society are integrated. So elders are respected for their wisdom and are working with children to share and mentor and apprentice them. Parents are supported with something called allo parenting, which I'll talk about a little bit in a moment. And the whole responsibility for the health of a community is shared. Now, that might seem like really utopian idea now because we're so far away, but this is just the remembrance of who we are and how we used to live. Okay, we've only if you looked at like human beings, how long we've been on the planet. First of all, we've only been on the planet for like 1 minute. Like if the history of the earth was a year, like humans just appeared like 1 minute before New Year's Eve. So that's how long we've actually been on the earth. And then the amount of time that we've been living in capitalistic society is about 10 seconds in the history of the earth. So we didn't used to live this way. Okay, it's just in the last, I'd say, 300 years, we've come into this sense of separation where people started to own the means of production. So instead of working on the land and being self-sufficient, we started working for other people. And there's loads of things there that we could talk about, politics and economics, but we won't. But in essence, the old way was that we all looked out for each other. And there's a fantastic book, which I will share with you, which is called Kinship Worldwide View. And it's been written by an amazing author called Four Arrows. and he's a professor, and he's also from indigenous Native American culture. And what he did is he looked at 22 indigenous cultures around the world, and what he found was that there were a number of principles that all of these cultures had. That's why it's called the kinship worldwide view. And those were things like caring for people, being in harmony with the earth, respecting each other, the older members of society teaching the younger members of society, sharing wisdom, like dancing, art, all of these things that are beautiful to enjoy, that we create for each other. And so that book is really inspiring, because, in fact, maybe if Ruthie's on here, she can just go on and find the title of that, pop it in the chat if you want to have it. It's just a really inspiring book about how we used to live. So if your heart is feeling empty and you're thinking, why is life like this? It's because we just forgotten. This is not how we were meant to be. So in the big scheme of things, if we look at like parenting, for example, then there's a concept called allo parenting. So if anyone's ever heard of allo parenting, do you want to just put a message in the box, yes or no, if you've heard of what allo parenting is? That's the book. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. This book is gold. This book will change your life because it makes you realize you're not crazy living in this world the way that it is. It's like, why do I feel so anxious? Why do I feel so overwhelmed? Why does everything feel so difficult? Why is there so many things going wrong? It's because we're out of balance and harmony. Kinship worldwide view really brings us back into harmony. Okay, so a lot of people haven't heard of it. Some people have. So I want to share with you about allo parenting because it might just blow your mind. So allo parenting was practiced in all cultures before kind of capitalism came in. And like I said, when we lived much more closely towards the land and in small community groups. And this is the idea that basically parenting is shared amongst 4 to 6 people. So it might sound crazy because it's so far away from what we do, but when your baby was born, your baby would be assigned 4 or 5 parents. So there obviously be the biological birth parents, but also other members of the community who would come in to kind of cross-fertilize the soil, if you like, so that they bring in different aspects. And those members of the community would be chosen and would become the parents of that baby and that child. And it would be the same respect and the same relationship as the birth parents. Like it literally, there was no like ownership over the child. It was the child was raised by a community. And you've probably heard that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. This is where allo parenting kind of comes from. And so what would happen is that child would have constant nurturing care because it's spread amongst 4 to 6 people, so that child's never left alone. They're always learning. They're one time they might be going out being carried by a parent to learn, like in baby wearing, to learn about the forest. One person is back on the back of someone who's cooking the food. One person is having a nap and the baby is there. So it's the baby is receiving all this love and nurturing care. And the parents are not depleted because it's being shared out amongst everybody. Now, it's a phenomenal concept, and it literally is how we used to live. Now, how do people feel when I say that? Like, because it's so different. It's seems hard to even imagine that we could live in a community where people would actually volunteer to come and be an allo parent your child just because they want to. Kerry's saying, this is exactly my life, no one there. Yeah, I recognize I'm depleted right now. Yeah. Yeah, it seemed hard to imagine that people would have time to spare. Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, what are we doing with all of the time that we have to spare? We're scrolling on social media. We are working really hard to pay bills for our houses that we're in debt to banks on. Like this is part of a very gentle introduction into a new way of being. Okay, now I'm not saying you don't have to like burn it down. You don't have to be a radical activist. Just gently and softly, in your own way, with your own choice of how you decide to live, what you eat, your relationship with nature, your relationship with others, the relationship with your family, you can shift the paradigm into this new way, the old way, the remembering way, by you deciding, okay, you making different choices. And that's where the power is. The power is in the free will and the choice. And you are not powerless, even though you might feel like, I've got no time, I've got no money, I've got this, I've got that. You are still able to choose. You chose today to come to this masterclass. So, you believe in this and you want to do it. But it's about stopping doing all of the things that are consuming your time and coming back into the vibration and the alignment of the life that you want to create for yourself and others. And, it can be hard because we have conditioning that says that sounds like really woo-woo hippie out there stuff. Yeah, that's never going to work. But I promise you, it worked for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years across the world, in multiple cultures. And yes, of course, human beings always mess things up. And there's also been war and conflict and violence and all of those things. I'm not trying to lightwash this, okay? The human nature is light and dark. But the village harmonizes our emotions, our feelings, our needs within the unit of connection. And that's why it's so powerful. And it's very, very rare nowadays. So, got here, Amy says, I absolutely love this idea. It sounds amazing for the child, but so great and supportive for the parent. When I take my children to visit Jamaica, several adults would claim each child. And I love that. Like unofficial godparents. You're right, though. 10 years ago, I spent a lot of time being creative rather than looking on my phone. This is exactly why I'm here. I didn't have the support bringing my children up. I spent 15 years in survival mode, bringing up children, working full time. I'm not sure this has been good for my children. Allo parenting happens a lot more in this part of the world. Yeah, and Caroline's in Botswana, definitely. So there are pockets of society where this is still going on. But I would say in the mainstream UK culture, it'd be pretty hard to find examples of this. So we can start to just I hope, like by me telling you this today, just pop in the chat box, has this broadened your understanding that there might be a different way, that there's a remembrance here, that this makes sense, this feels good in your body when I'm saying this to you? Yeah, because if it's making you feel good, this is what other people need to hear. Yeah, we're not made to do this alone. We're definitely not meant to parent in isolation. I promise you, it is actually crippling for us. And it sets up this sense of separation of like, I need to do everything for my family, not realizing that everybody is sharing the same resources. We're all here in the same place. So it's just a mindset shift. And again, this is just a little tiny like drop that's just been put into your awareness today. For some of you, it won't go any further. For others of you who perhaps read the book, who come and join the community, this will expand, and you will see that love, connection, and deep care for others is the way. It is the way. Because also the alternative, which we're seeing across the world right now, is harm, hate, evil, destruction, war, like lack of humility. Like the time has come now. We're stepping forward into the new way, which is the old way, which we've just forgotten. There's just like something has happened where, the glasses, the love specs that we've been wearing, we're born with when we're children. We come into the world, we're so excited. There's magic, there's awe, there's wonder, there's potential. And then your glasses, the lens that you look through the world, gets covered in all of the stuff that people tell you. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's like this, it's like that, and then you can't see. So this is just about cleaning the lens so you can actually see what is really there. We are so lucky. If you're listening to this in the UK, you are so lucky that we live in a country at the moment where there is relative peace, where there is people do have access to homes, to clean water, to sanitation. This is a privilege that is not afforded to everyone around the world. So I always believe if you have the opportunity to give and you are in a privileged position to do that, then I think it's part of what we're here to do is to bring our medicine to help other people. So allo parenting is just one concept of the village, but also the way in which we would live with our children in terms of the village would be that children would come and do everything with us all of the time. So there would be no separation between parents and babies. Now, that some of you might be thinking, whoa, that sounds pretty intense. But part of the reason why studies have suggested that Western babies are really fussy is because we separate them from us in the first place. And we don't respond to children, our babies' needs straight away. So, for example, Ugandan babies, when they are born, studies have shown that after 6 weeks, sorry, not 6 weeks, that after about 2 weeks, Ugandan babies can smile and pretty much sit up when you hold them just by their arms, and they're fully alert and really, really engaged with life. And they think that's because of the way that Ugandan women birth, which means that babies don't have a lot of stress and trauma like in a traditional way. And because Ugandan babies don't have any like separation, so they're carried and they're nurtured and they're breastfed. So because of that, they're able to receive, they're trusting and they're open straight away. Now, if you compare that to Western babies, and I'll share this study with you because it's an actual scientific study that's been done. Western babies tend to sleep a lot because basically their nervous systems are totally overwhelmed by everything that's going around. And because they're not connected to us, they don't have our bodies to regulate them, they're stuck in their own like little stress bubbles, which basically, causes them to sleep a lot, cry a lot more, be overstimulated and then overfed and then this and that. So there's a lot of evidence that says that carrying your baby, keeping your baby with you as much as you can, means that your baby is happier and then you are happier, because basically your baby's needs are being taken care of because they're physically connected to you. And you're able to go about and do what you want to do in your life because your baby is just traveling with you and enjoying what you're doing. So if you love going out in nature, put your baby in a sling and go out in nature. If you love, like me, I love like soul, disco, old school vinyl, like I put that on. And, when my kids were young, I used to just dance around with my kids to that all the time because my kids are in the frequency of what I love to do. And so they're getting all the love and the joy and the vibrations coming off of me are high because I feel high on life because I'm choosing me and what I want to do. Whereas a lot of the time with parenting, there's a lot of expectations on us, which mean that we're doing lots of things and we're not even present. We're just moving from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, like ticking things off in a box. And that actually means that life doesn't feel joyful. It feels quite heavy and quite overwhelming. So the village way of being would be that children would have no separation from adults, and they'd be involved in all aspects of life. Children would be children in a lot of indigenous cultures, by the time they were 4, they would be cooking food. They would be going out and doing like really responsible jobs that probably even some adults can't do. Because they're just given these opportunities to learn and grow, and this builds resilience and it builds courage and bravery and creativity in children because they're allowed to actually participate in adult life. They're not being separated and saying, because you're a baby and a child, you like to do these things. You like toys that are plastic or make this noise, or you want to sit under a UV light and have things kind of put in your face and all the rest of it. Like, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I see those classes, I think, gosh, as an adult human being, I wouldn't want to be in that environment. And babies can't even consent. And their nervous systems are so delicate that they're getting all of this artificial stimulation. That, is it any wonder that our children are now like scrolling and getting hit dopamine hits all the time, because we're teaching them at the beginning that fun and entertainment means constant stimulation. Here's a toy, here's this, here's some music, here's a light, blah, blah, blah. No, like a regulated nervous system means that you can be completely bored and have nothing to do and you feel amazing. Now, how many people can sit in silence and do nothing for more than about, let's say 10 minutes? That's quite high. If you can, if anyone here, or maybe put in there, how long can you sit on your own in silence without checking anything, talking to anyone, scrolling on the phone, nothing. Like, give me the stats on that. I'd love to know. Me personally, 1 hour, amazing. Half an hour, yes, all day. Not long, maybe a couple of minutes, 30 minutes, not long. Used to be a whole day. Wow, wow. These you guys are really good. I mean, I would say if I was being honest, like even though I do a lot of meditation, I do a lot of daydreaming. My meditation is actually daydreaming. Um, I would say the max for me would be about 10 minutes max. And then I would go, oh, I just need to check my email. Oh, I wonder who's called me on WhatsApp. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that, you know. So yeah, I mean, if it's something like crafting or going out in nature, then I'm lost forever. Like the other day, I was making something with my daughter, and it was like 5 hours later. We looked at the time, we were like, what? Like what, where, what happened to time? You know, we just dropped into this different zone because we were just like in flow. But most of the time, we aren't doing that. And so what we need to be really aware of as parents and carers is this: our children are watching us, you know, our children are watching us. And so we're teaching them that the way that we are as human beings is we flip from this to this to this to this and this and this and this, and then we do this and this and this. And then we get really annoyed at children because they've got no attention span. Anyone got frustrated with their children because, oh, you can't concentrate anything on 2 seconds? Where did they pick that one up from? Yeah. Okay. You know, like the children are learning from us all of the time, which again comes back to this idea of sovereignty, that you can choose where to put your time and attention. And of course, you know, there's a place for mindless scrolling. There's a great, you know, WhatsApp groups are great fun. There's loads of amazing opportunities to connect, and we're blessed, and I'm grateful for that. And technology is a gift, it's not a curse. But when we use it in harmony and balance. So all of these different aspects are bringing us back to that core idea of, you know, what the village is. And the village that we want to create is my 11:11 alarm's going to go off, sorry. So the village that we want to create is a village that has the qualities of connection, of kinship, of being seen, being heard, feel like you belong, feel like you're accepted, feel like there's a place for you. So how can we start to do that? Well, this is what we're trying to do at Blossom and Berry, is that instead of holding classes and groups and sessions, we want to hold circles. So again, a big part of being in the village would be sitting in circles. So pretty much like every day, there would be circles where people could come and talk and share and say how they feel, to raise things, like so that within the village, the conflict was resolved, because there was always an opportunity to go to someone and talk to someone to mediate, someone to kind of be, you know, the middle way between two people. There was the opportunity to share stories, which helps to inspire other people. There's the opportunities for music, for art, creativity, laughter. Like, I don't know if you've ever sat around a campfire, but it's one of my favorite things to do, because get chatting to people, stories, someone's always got a guitar, you know, and it's just like your heart is feeling so open and receiving, because again, this is what we were naturally here to do: gather around the fire for warmth, and to receive from everyone, to put into this beautiful love bubble all of the different medicines that we bring, so that we can all share, we can all heal and rise and be more elevated together. So circle work is absolutely crucial to what we do at Blossom and Berry. So more and more, as we've gone into doing things like wild well-being and tree babies, barefoot beach babies, nature natal, we now have less planning and much more what I call co-creation. So the great thing about being a village visionary is that the responsibility for creating the village, it's not just on you. So you are the one that calls people in, but what happens in your spaces, your parent and baby wellness spaces, is co-created. So forget about all the teaching plans and all the equipment and all of the things that we're supposed to have, and, you know, making it really complicated. What we do at Blossom and Berry is we just strip it right back to, we're in circle. You just start the question like I did today. Hey, like, how are you guys doing? Let's go round and just say your name and one word to describe how you feel. Okay, that just straight away people are like, okay, I'm feeling like that as well. Okay, that feels normal. Like there's nothing wrong with me. This is just being shared in the circle. Then you can go, you can do, if you have something like baby massage, baby yoga, you can bring that in. And then there's a really big session to end part of the session where people just get to talk about how they feel. And what I often do, I don't know if I've got all my cards here, but say for example, this is the one I've got next to me here, is that I have cards in my circle and people will just pick up a card, and then whatever it is, we just say, okay, do you want to share for like a couple of minutes on that card? What's that card reflecting to you in your life right now? Boy, this the start the joy of being able to speak and express and be heard and seen, it's amazing. And this is not a conversation, so it's not like someone else goes, oh yeah, I feel like that. It's just 2 to 3 minutes of each person just sharing how they feel. It is magic. If you've never been to a women's circle, I absolutely 100% recommend it. They're part of my life. I do them all of the time. That it's just incredible, the friendships that you create in authentic spaces where you're just speaking your truth. You're not doing an exercise, or you're not doing something like, you're not making a craft thing with your baby on your own. Maybe as a group you're making a giant picture for all of you that becomes your group community art at the end of it, and you can put it on the wall. Or there's a great thing, again, I haven't got it with me, but I have a stick. It's called a prayer stick, and it's just a stick from the woods. And every time I have a circle, each person puts a little bit of wool around the stick for their prayer. So by the end of it, you have this rainbow colored stick of everybody's like wishes and dreams and prayers. And you just look at the stick and it just makes you feel amazing. You're like, wow, like this stick is carrying all of the intentions of everyone in this group. Like that is so easy to do. It's so beautiful. There's so much reverence and devotion in ritual and these very simple things. And yeah, initially maybe someone will go, I don't know how I feel about that, or they might feel like difficult in sharing, and that's okay. You meet people where they are, but slowly you can start to create these things alongside what you're doing in your classes. It's this space that you're holding. This is the most important thing. Is the village is basically a space where you can be seen and heard. And at Blossom and Berry, we call it the love bubble. It's that which is the medicine, not really even what you're doing in it. Like one week you could do that. One week you could. We did some singing when we did our Nurturing the Future event in London. Kira's on this call today. And what we did was we created an affirmation. Someone would say, I am joyful. And then we just went round the group and we just sang it together, like just to a tune. And it was just beautiful. It was like everyone was like crying and opening their hearts and laughing. And oh, it was just beautiful. And again, really spontaneous, just co-created. So you don't have to. Let's get out of the old way of sitting in a classroom where there's a teacher who goes, this week we're going to do this week it looks like this. That's not what village is. That's not what community is. That's not what co-creation is. That's someone at the front saying, this is what it's got to be like, and you lot have all got to do the same as me. So the village is freedom of expression, it's creativity. And so if you're artistic in any way, you give yourself full permission in your spaces, in your group. This is why it's the Village Visionary Masterclass. What is it you want to create for your parent and baby wellness classes? Like throw out anything you've ever been to, anything that anyone's ever told you that they want to do, and just do what you think. I would love to do that. So if your thing is painting, paint. If your thing is singing, sing. If your thing is dancing, dance. Anything you want to do. This is the Village Visionary. She brings in her medicine to share with her community. And then someone else might go, oh, well, I know how to do this. Oh, well, next week, do you want to do that? Honestly, it's magic. It's just absolutely magic what happens when you love people exactly as they are, and you give them full permission to just share and show up without the idea that anything is right or wrong, or I'm better than you, or you're better than me. It's just absolutely magic. So Yeah, so how are those ideas like kind of sitting with you around how you can bring this vibration of the village to your classes? I'd love to create a cross-generational artistic communal project for mothers of all generations. Wow, yes, absolutely. That sounds amazing, Kira. How do you work out your medicine when you're a jack of all trades? Oh, well, that's because you just got loads of medicine to offer. So it's just how you feel, like seasons of doing one thing or the other. Um, like, what would I say my medicine is? My medicine is holding space for people and really listening. My medicine is also my energy and my enthusiasm. Like, I never leave anybody without feeling, most people who spend time with me leave going, I feel really good. So that's part of my medicine, is just sharing my energy with people. I also love ritual. So I love anything that is in devotion of the elements. So I love to pick different activities, like I said, with the prayer stick. Um, there are other things that you can do outside in nature, like offerings you can put in the earth, called despacho. There's so many different things you can do that are earth-based practices that just, when you're just doing them, you're like, oh, I love this. And we're using natural resources as well. You know, a stick, you know, you could do something if you're a tree babies teacher, for example, where everyone chooses a stick when you're out in a tree babies class, and everyone has an individual prayer stick that they create and they take home for themselves. Like, all you need is a stick and some wool. It's not expensive, but these are the sort of resources that we're using. Or it could even be a stick and some reeds or something from nature. You don't even need to have wool, you know. So many amazing earth-based practices, and you can bring these into your classes inside as well. So you see, like, this here is our hoop of love. So we always have a centerpiece in Blossom and Berry classes, and so we like, this one is actually not real flowers, but then around it I would put in seasonal things. So like when it was Halloween, you know, little mini pumpkins, um pine cones, things I find, and then you build it up and you have this beautiful centerpiece of devotion to nature. So you can always have nature, the ultimate mother, in our classes, because there's no separation between us and nature as well. We are nature and nature is us. So when we don't include nature in everything that we're doing, we're also not including the ultimate provider of everything, Mother Earth, giving us everything: the air we breathe, the food that we eat, all the materials to create our homes, you know, inspiring us for music, creativity, all the animals that live, like, you know, she's abundant. So I always bring in earth-based practices, and I find that that also really makes other people feel quite earthy and anchored in. It's not overwhelming for people's nervous systems themselves, because don't forget, you could be overwhelmed as a new parent and carer coming in. If someone's then saying, you've got to learn the words to this song and you got to sing it now, and then you got to do this and you got to do that, and then your baby's upset, like, that is not very relaxing. I don't think so. Earth-based practices, and I'm going to be, later on in the year, I'm going to be doing a special day which is going to be called the Together Garden, and it's going to be a day of earth-based practices for parents and babies, which will be available to Blossom and Berry teachers. So we'll all get to play basically in nature and do all of these things that you can bring into your classes. So let's see what else we've got in here. I've done these type of activities in my teen yoga. Young people love it also. It'd be great for a new and future paradigm. I'm a shiatsu practitioner, work one-to-one, and I'd love to form women's retreats. I hold circles and teach qigong in nature. I love the concept of earth brace offerings. Yeah, so basically the village is simplicity, it's harmony, it's balance, it's that everything is welcome, all feelings, all emotions, all people. We welcome in all of the elements, and we hold space for the magic to happen, and that's where the healing happens, in the authentic connection that is created. And this is what Blossom and Berry is about. It's really about moving away from, you must do this, you must do that, and just trusting yourself that if you're here now, it's because you want to do this, that this is what you're born to do, and that you can do it. And you can do it when you're fully supported and you're part of a bigger community, which is Blossom and Berry, because obviously we're a global village holding over 2,000 teachers in 5 kind of global branches. to do all of this work together. So that's what I wanted to talk about with the village. Before we move on to like what it means to be a visionary and a leader, any questions you want to put in here about the village? And then we're going to take we're going to take a couple of minutes just for a little wee break or a tea break or something, because I've been talking for a whole hour, before we come back and look at the visionary, the leadership part, which is the really exciting part, which is all about the creation. So now we know what the village is, we know what the principles are, we have all felt into what that might be. So yeah, like if you want to put anything in the chat box about the village, how you're feeling about the village, anything on this section. Kira says, strong is medicine. This song is so gorgeous. Gail shared it with me a couple of years ago, and I'll know that you will love, and it's very, very relevant for this workshop as well. Yeah, that is a beautiful song. And it's called Love is the Strongest Medicine I Know. It's beautiful. Yeah. So what maybe pop that on whilst you're just taking a couple of moments. She's put it in the chat there. That would definitely infuse it with the village vibes. Okay, so let's take 3 minutes, just a little break. Like I say, have a stretch. Now we're going to start crafting the vision, the intention, the leadership piece. So have a shakeout, maybe just stick your head outside, breathe in the air, and I will see you back here at, let's say, well, it's just 10, 11, 25. So I'll see you back here at 11:30. So a little 5-minute break. Okay. All right. See you in a minute. Okay. I've been having a little listen. Okay, it's a beautiful song. Let's have it as a little anthem today when we finish the session. So yes, don't forget, guys, the book as well, Mother Transformation, my gift to you for coming today, because I see you, I value you, I celebrate you, and I'd love you to get some more inspiration. So yes, right. Oh, I'm feeling really excited. Yeah, I think the best way to describe the village, I was just thinking about how to summarize this up, is that if you start with the village and then you break down what the village is connection, and connection is love. Okay, so everything starts with love. And this is where I am going to just speak my truth, which is that, you are love. You are everything that there has ever been and ever will be, because there's only one thing, there's only one consciousness. And sometimes many of us have forgotten that, but all you need to do is go outside in nature and wonder who put the stars up in the sky, who brought the sun up this morning. Okay, there's magic. We're living a pretty magical, incredible existence every single day. Again, our glasses just need a little bit of a wipe there. So when you put it down from going, the village is connection and connection is love, that's why you are always the answer. You are always what is needed, just you showing up exactly as you are. You don't need to do anything other than be you. You just need to hold the vibration of love. And in every little thing that you do, and when you choose what food to eat, what things to read, what TV you're watching, the kind of ways that you're talking to people, how you're treating animals, nature, everything, just choose love every single time. And honestly, that's how I've built my life, is just in every moment, just thinking, what am I going to choose? Am I going to choose love, or am I going to choose not love? Okay, if I choose love, that makes connection and it brings something good, or I choose not. Okay, then I need to give love to the part of me that is feeling like that right now. So there's no such thing as anything is wrong. There's something wrong with you. Like, all these feelings that we have, they're all valid. They're all there. We don't want to push them away. We just want to love them more. We just put love on everything. Everything that comes up, you just love it more. I love myself when I'm grumpy. I love myself when I'm impatient. I love myself when I shout. I love myself when I go, like, it's still in the moment. It's still got to choose. Okay, this is happening, but am I going to love it more or less? I'm going to love more or less. It's just a really good way to start. So I just wanted to share that, because that's really how we change this thing. It's just in those micro moments, in the everyday moment of life, and it just builds like that. And then before you know it, you go, hey, how did life get to be this good? And it's because you just kept choosing love every single time. So right, now, Village Visionaries alert. So I would love to hear some of your visions. Does anyone want to share what their vision is? Maybe like in a minute, because if we do more than that, then we're going to use up the time. But I would love to hear one. And Kerry is here, immediately ready. So unmute yourself. Come share with me. What is your vision?
Hi.
Hello.
Um, I am on a quest. As I say, I'm a shiatsu practitioner, and I'm also working as a recruiter, which is what I should be doing right now. Um, and I have gone through so much self-development, and I'm really trying to find the courage to put myself out there. That's the biggest thing for me. I know I've got so much to offer. I've got a 3-year-old daughter, and I always return to the woman community. How can I help support women in whatever capacity that is? And it's really about coming back to who I am and stepping into that light. That sounds a bit vague. Um, it's really just finding the courage to do that and holding space. Like, you're doing it so beautifully, and it's like, how do you get to that point? there's something transformed within yourself through your journey that has enabled you to get to this point. And that's what I would like to find within myself so that I can offer something of value to the community where I am.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So I'm hearing for you, it's like the courage and the confidence that you have the
Mhm.
desire to work with the women. You know, you've got the skills, you've got your 3-year-old daughter, you keep coming back to the women's work, but there's just something there that's maybe not just giving you the ability to step up. Is that where you are?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to
Thank
cover
you.
some of this now. So that's perfect. Thank you so much. Who else? Marta, do you want to share?
Hi everyone. Sorry, I don't have my camera on today,
That's okay.
but I have this vision, and I'm just working towards that. I have this vision of creating not only in person but online platform and community for mothers, and because either projects or children, it's our future. I'm not a biological mother yet. I want to be, but it hasn't been the time yet. But I dream of creating a place, and although I know I am the pillar building it, I know it will be something that will branch out of me and it will move beyond me. A community where mothers and archetypal mothers as well can feel nourished and just find support, either medical, psychological, nerd community, and they can go there and find it. Because at where I live now, everything is separated. You need to find something. You ask if someone knows something where they can find what they need. And I want to create a place where all of that is together under this mission and this value of the village, to support either body, mind, soul, and also gather in nature. So it's a dream of mine. It's a very big project, and I keep going to the simplicity of just holding space. So, and the more simple I can do this, the better. It's a long way to go, but I really am excited. Yeah.
Oh, amazing, Marta. Thank you for sharing. So you got that village, the dream of having the village as the one place where you can go and you know that you can find what you need, and everyone's sharing their medicine in that one place. And that's a place for mothers or those who identify as mothers holding that energy. So just a beautiful kind of creative space of connection. It sounds beautiful. Yeah, really honoring you in your journey towards that. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
And Danny?
Hello.
Hello.
Hiya. So I think I'm fed up of being caught in the rat race and just always putting work first before everyone else at home. And these guys are like the most important people. And I used to work outdoors, and I was outdoors all the time with kids and with other grown-ups, and leading sessions about being a Victorian or being a pirate or being, whatever, and storytelling. And I'm fed up of being in a situation now where the money that I earn is from a place that I've just lost the belief in it, to be honest. And I don't want to care about that anymore. And I'm desperate to kind of create a future where we are all going outside far more, and whether that's kind of bringing mums together just to walk, because I think everyone's always getting in their cars. So I think I just want to be outdoors and creating some kind of future where we're all outside and we're playing, we're doing, and this is that kind of thing, really. It's a bit rambling. I'm a bit tired, but that's kind of where I'm at. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you for sharing, Danny. Yeah, so I hear that you're kind of, in your words, you're feeling fed up of where you are now, and that you've had the joy of outside living, storytelling, play, it sounds like, as well, and that perhaps you've lost that little bit because work is now coming first. So you're just reclaiming your power and deciding what it is that you want to do. So really honoring you in that as well. Does anyone else want to share, or maybe we'll share again at the end after the session? If towards the end of the session, if you feel from listening to this, you know what your vision is and how it's going to drop in. Okay, so there's 4 like principles that I want to talk to you about how to be the village visionary, how to be the leader, because ultimately what this is asking for is leadership. Now, for many, 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 many years, I refused to even receive the idea that I was a leader. I was always like, no, I'm in co-creation, I'm part of the team and all the rest of it. And actually someone pointed out to me that by not being the leader, I was actually not I was not actually being the person that was meant to be the light to guide others. And unless I started to shine my light and own my light and claim my message and be more visible, that actually all of the good that I could bring into the world would be diminished or wouldn't be shining so bright. And so that person gave me quite a big talking to and said, you are a leader, whether you like it or not. Did you choose this morning what you were going to eat for your breakfast? Well, you're a leader. You know, did you choose to where you want to live? Yeah, you're a leader. So anything where you're making a choice, you're using your free will, that's leadership. And that's the first step, is recognizing you are a leader, you are a creator, you are choosing and you are manifesting in your life, consciously or unconsciously. So this is the thing. A lot of people say, oh, I don't believe in manifestation, or I'm not a leader, but basically in every choice that you make, you're manifesting your life, whether it's good or bad, in inverted commas, because I think it's all learning. But you are, by staying where you are, you're choosing that. By going somewhere else, you're choosing that. So when we start to realize that we have free will as human beings, we're the only creatures on the earth that have free will. Okay, there's a reason why, because we're here to create. We're here to connect, and we're here to bring our light and our medicine to the world. And we have to do that by claiming our sovereign power and stepping into leadership. Now, one of the reasons why people sometimes reject leadership is because it seems like a masculine thing. And let's face it, there's not some great examples of male leadership in the world right now. That's my personal opinion, particularly around what's happening in the Middle East. You know, when we think of leadership, we think of men in suits who are detached from us. We can't relate to them. They have agendas which probably aren't shared by the majority of people, but they just happen to be in power for whatever reason. And so the idea of leadership, it feels like quite masculine, like control, like I'm the leader and you're less than. Feminine leadership is not that at all. Feminine leadership is serving for humanity, serving for the greater good. It's about balance, it's harmony, it's not leaving anyone behind. It's when you make a decision, you do it from a place of love and nurturing care, of deep service of yourself and others, so that everybody benefits. That is feminine leadership. That is what the world needs right now. And that is what the village is based on. And again, if we go back probably about 1,000, 2,000 years ago, the world was ruled by women. You know, it was the matriarchy was in charge, not the patriarchy. And the goddess, the female form, was worshipped as the creator of all things. And if you look at a lot of religious buildings, you will see signs of the goddess everywhere. And when I say goddess, I don't mean that you have to be flouncing around in a floral maxi dress with flowers in your hair. It's the goddess energy. It's the energy of creation, the energy of co-creation. So the ultimate creation is when you combine your energy with something else and something incredible comes out of it. So for example, with babies, you've got the male aspect, the female aspect comes together, creates a new life. If it's a creative project, it could be you, the modality of music comes together, creates a new song, a new dance, poetry, art, knitting, whatever you want to do. Women are extremely creative. It's our nature. Our anatomy is created to be able to birth ideas. So this is the feminine leadership. So part of owning the leadership and the village visionary is understanding that you are made for this. You as a woman are designed to create and bring more love and nurturing care into this world. And it's so important to honor that. And that also starts with love and nurturing care for you. So who here on this call feels like sometimes you don't make great choices in leadership for yourself that are love and nurturing care? Who here feels like you do that? Do you want to put something in there? Me? Oh, for sure. I kind of guess what might be coming through here. Me, yes. And I say yes, yes, me. Yeah. Okay. So this is where it starts. If we are depleted and we're not expressing love and nurturing care for ourselves, we don't have any capacity to spread it for others. So when we're starting to think about, when Kerry was saying, like, how do you actually do it? Where do you start? It always starts with you. So stop scrolling, get more sleep, eat better food, cut toxic people out of your life, spend more time in nature, sing more, dance more, have more fun, have more joy. That will give you the vibration that you want to hold. Okay. So there's no point in looking around and thinking, where am I going to find this? Because it's in you now. It's all in you, but you have to choose it. You have to get really uncomfortable and be proactive and break patterns and behaviors that are rooted in you. And you've got to tackle when those voices come up. Like when you pick up your phone, you start scrolling, just you got to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to jump. I'm going to put on some, this is what I do. I put on some disco. I've got, I love vinyl. I put on my vinyl and I dance around, and then I've forgotten what it was that I was supposed to be Googling or looking at or whatever, because I've come back into the moment, into my body and all of these different things. So let's see. Everyone is saying yes to not doing nurturing care and love first. So it has to start with you. Remember, love creates love. You cannot serve from an empty cup. And as my friend says, you should be so full that you're serving from the saucer. Yes, who wants to serve from the saucer? I really do. Yes, so that concept of serving from the saucer is internally resourced by your own decisions for yourself. So the fact that you're here now, again, you've decided that this is worthy of your time, because you know that this is something that's going to honor you and others. And so just again, celebrating you for making that choice to be here today. So I'm going to go through these principles that I've used to enable me to, be who I am. I identify as the Village Visionary. I'm not the original Village Visionary, because there's been millions that have come before me, but I identify as a Village Visionary. And very quickly with my story, I started off working in the city about 24 years ago. I was a corporate finance lawyer in the city. I was extremely unhappy. I was working horrendous hours, like getting home at 2 a.m. in taxis and all sorts of things. I had a terrible blushing complex because I was so inauthentic that when anyone asked me a question about law, I just went bright red immediately. It was really awful. I had social anxiety. I didn't like I just didn't vibe with anyone in my firm, so I always felt like an imposter. It was horrid. It was absolutely horrid, and as a result I felt depressed, to be honest. And I went to South America on a sabbatical with my husband at the time, before I started my real work, because I was a trainee solicitor before I started my real job. And on that trip, I literally got down on my hands and my knees and I said, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, please, please show me. Just show me. And I completely surrendered, and I had no expectation. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I just knew that no part of me was happy, and my mind was never going to be able to help me because I was totally lost. And 2 weeks after that, I became unexpectedly pregnant with my daughter, Emily. I was 26. And I had never thought about having a family at that time. I'd been married for about 3 months. It was an incredibly happy accident. It wasn't planned in any way. And from the moment I became pregnant, I just knew that I knew what my purpose was. Like, not all women feel like this, but for me, it was like an activation. And I loved every single moment of being pregnant. And when my daughter was born, just my whole world changed. I felt like this is the first time I felt deeply, madly, intensely in love. In fact, I think my daughter might be my soulmate, actually, because when she was handed to me, I get all emotional thinking about it now, but it was just like my life has actually begun at this moment. This is what I'm here to do. And so she was a very very colicky, distressed baby. I was a very new mum, nervous new mum, never held a baby before in my life. so completely clueless, was 26 and had no friends with babies because everyone else had a really fancy job in the city. So I was all on my own. My husband was a lawyer, so he was working really long hours. My mum and dad didn't live near close by to me. So I went in desperation, I went to a baby massage class. And when I got to the class, something magical happened. I just felt really calm. And when I went to sort of try and fix Emily's colic, and when I got there, I just went, oh my God, everything's just going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. I get really emotional thinking about it because it was just I'd been struggling so hard to get it right. And I was so worried about doing everything right for my daughter and not letting her down that I was just not being in my heart. And it was in that moment of touch and presence and just looking into her eyes and really feeling that heartfelt connection that it wasn't my responsibility to parent her, that we were just going to do it together and we were going to be in co-creation, and that she would teach me and I would teach her. And just everything, just all the stress just melted off of me. And I looked around the room and I thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing to have this powerful medicine to share with other women around the world? So by the time I left that room in 1 hour, I had decided I was going to leave my corporate career that had taken me 7 years to study to be there. I went to the library because there was no computers at home. There was no, it was dial-up internet. There was no smartphones. And I typed in baby massage instructor course. And that was the start of my journey. So I began teaching. And I knew, even in my training, my first training with the AIM, when I was sitting in there, I felt almost a little bit arrogant because as I was sitting there, I was like, I'm going to take this around the world, like in my own way. I was receiving the training, which was absolutely amazing, but there were certain things about it that I felt I want to add something to this music. I love this music, it's beautiful, but I've got my own song that I want to bring to it as well. So I taught for a few years, and then eventually I decided to start to train people myself, and I worked for a college in London, and then I had a very basic website where I used to train people online and send out in the post ring binders with work, which people would then write their answers and then send them back to me in the post. I'd mark them and then send them back to them because there was like very basic email. This is a long time ago, it's like 20 years ago. And so it just Blossom and Berry started to grow, and I realized when my youngest went to school, because I had 3 children in 3.5 years as well. I didn't mention that part. So I was pregnant for 5 years. Every year for 5 years I was pregnant. Every year for 5 years I was breastfeeding, and I just wanted to be with my children. So I set up my business very small around like a few hours that I had where I wasn't with my kids, and I kind of child swap cared with people and bits and pieces like that. And then it just started to grow, and by the time my son went to school, I was ready to really start Blossom and Berry training, and so that's what I did. And my vision was to amplify the message, because I knew that if I just taught myself in my local area and I taught parents and babies privately, one-to-ones, workshops, dad sessions. Then I started working for Sure Start centres, primary care trusts, charities, Home Start. I started doing brand work for brands like Pampers, Nurofen for children, like different brands and things like that. But I thought, if I'm really going to make an impact, I've got to scale. And I've got to share this wisdom with other women and men across the world. And so that's when I started to activate our training. And in the last 20 years now, we have over 2,000 teachers across the world. Probably have more than that. I'm always saying 2,000, but we're always growing. Over 2,000 teachers across the world, 5 international branches, which are all partnered by people who started off in Blossom and Berry as my students, and then grew with their passion, they grew with me, and then they have become my business partners around the world. So they all started off in classrooms with me, and now they are amazing leaders, like teaching me how to take Blossom and Berry in Italian and French and Spanish all across the world. It's like Caroline, who was on here, she's my business partner in Botswana. So it just started to spread like that. And then when I got to 40, I was like, I've received so much from this beautiful business. I've spent so much time in harmony with my children as well. All the school holidays I had off, all the school pickups, everything. that I want to give back. And that's when I found a charity in Malawi called Love Support Unite. And I flew to Malawi and set up our mother and baby health initiative, which is based in maternal care, menstrual health hygiene, infant mental health, early childhood development, hand washing education as well. So we started to set that up. And that's impacted hundreds and hundreds of women. So I train women on the ground to hold space for other women in Malawi in their own language, in their own culture. It's not me coming in and being a white savior and bringing my culture into theirs. It's working in co-creation. So it's all done in their languages, in alignment with their culture. We brought it to children with special needs. We built a nursery. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we've done. So that was that's been the last 10 years, is giving back for all that I've received. And we have other charitable projects around the world that we support as well. So, and now, well, now the sky's the limit. Like now now my children are 23, 18 and 20. I actually feel like I'm just starting now, because I've pretty much put my children like very balanced in this. But now my children have like they're kind of like, they've got relationships. They're going to leave home soon. Now I'm coming into my full bloom as I approach 50 and gone through the menopause, and I have all this time now to be in deeper service. So that's my story of where I am now. And like I say, I haven't even started, to be honest. I just feel very grateful that I've been able to do what I've got to do. But when I started, I had no time, no idea, no experience, no money. God, no money at all. I was working in the evenings as well as teaching baby massage in the day. So as soon as my kids would go to bed, I would go and work in cafes at night. But it was my choice, because I wanted to be with my children in the day and I wanted to teach baby massage, and I had this vision, and I was like, well, am I going to give up on the vision and go and get a full-time job just because my family is really struggling with money? And I was like, no, I'm going to sell stuff on eBay. I'm going to work in a cafe at night. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I never let go of the vision, because it was just like, it wouldn't let me go. Actually, it was so connected, and I was so so in alignment with it, that it has manifested, and in ways like beyond my wildest dreams. Like the travel that I've been able to do, like I used to have a fear of flying. Just to put this into context, like I wouldn't fly at all, and now I have flown all across the world and taught in Dubai, Australia, Italy, Botswana, Malawi, Bali, Indonesia, like so many countries all around the world. So I share my story as a kind of testament to what is possible, because I've never really known what is going to happen. And that is part of feminine leadership. Feminine leadership and being a village visionary, it's all about who you are, not what you do. Because I couldn't have planned 23 years ago that all these things would have happened. Okay, I couldn't have even have imagined, that I'd get to do a TED talk, that I get to work for big brands around the world, that I'd be flown to Kuala Lumpur University to learn about postnatal care for free. Like none of it, like honestly, gifts upon gifts upon gifts. The only thing that I've done is held the intention of being a village visionary, of serving parents and babies, and I've shown up in that vibration of always staying connected. I'm here to teach love. I'm here to teach love. I'm here to teach love. I'm here to choose love. That's all that I've done. And all the rest of it has come to me. Now, you might say, oh, it's not that easy. The fact that I've shown up every single day, that is actually pretty hard to do. I'd say that's harder to show up consistently in the same vibration every single day than it is to actually have a to-do list like this and go tick, 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 tick. Okay. That is what it is. It's like who you are, not what you do. And that's what the village visionary is. It's the vibration of the person that leads with love. It's the empress vibration. That's what I call it. It's the mix of the queen and the lover. When you bring the queen and the lover archetypes together in feminine leadership, you get the empress. She cares for humanity. She serves for humanity. She's for everybody, not just for herself. And that like, just when you just think about that vibration, if you care for everyone and not just yourself, what do you think you're going to receive if you're holding that vibration? What do you think is going to come to you? Put in the chat box, if you hold the vibration of that, what kind of things do you think you're going to get when you're in service to others? Because there's only one thing you can get back from that. And this is the most important thing. Yeah, joy, love, connection, opportunity, creativity, contentment. Like, I wake up every morning and I go, wow, what's going to happen today? Like, who can I create with? Even when big things happen, like in my team and things don't go right, I'm still like, it is what it is. You know, it's a left-hand turn then rather than a right-hand turn, but it doesn't affect my energy. I still show up and be as consistent as I can. Now, obviously, I'm a human being, so I have like dark emotions as well. I get frustration, I get irritation, I get impatience, and all of these things, but then I just sit with them with love. And this is really, really, really important. So some of the things in here, expansion and peace, contentment, yeah, absolutely. So that's my story. And like I said, you can read more about this. If you want the free copy of the book, then you can read more about this. There's some exercises in there that you can do. So there's 4 principles I want to cover with you. So let's make a note of this. So number 1 is, to be the village visionary, is intention and creativity. So what does this mean? I'm just going to have a little cup of tea here. Sorry. Okay, so you have to be really clear on your intention of what it is you want to create. So when I started, I wanted to teach baby massage, but I had a higher vision on top of that. So in order to get to the higher vision, I just held the higher vision that I want to help as many babies around the world reach their full potential through nurturing care. But the first step was I needed to learn how to teach baby massage. So that was the first thing that I did. So in all moments, it's about moving, so making moves. If you don't move and you're not proactive, nothing happens, because you're in the space that is here now. As soon as you decide something, the space starts opening up to the thing that you want to receive. If you don't do anything, then nothing happens. You're just in the same moment of now. So you have to be proactive. So having the intention is really important. So right now, with your highest vision, if you want to just jot down, like in your wildest imagination, your dreams, write down what you would love to create. Because remember, you're a creator. Feminine leadership, feminine embodiment, your whole entire body as a woman is designed to create. It just is. So if you want to write down, what would be the highest vision for what you'd want to create in the world? A mindful community, amazing. And you can share, or you can write down whatever feels like the most exciting for you right now. And you know, like, go big if that's what feels good, or it could be go small. World-class retreats for women, a wilderness activity empire. Love it. Love it. That's very fitting of the Empress. A community where parents don't feel lonely and they know they have somewhere to turn. Amazing, amazing. Great. So there's some people are sharing some things there. So it's having the intention and making it crystal clear. So what I have in my house is I have like vision boards. I have certain like things in my house, items in my house that are the embodiment of the vision. I have them in my awareness all of the time, so I stay connected to it. So it could be a piece of art, it might be something you've drawn, it could be music, it could be anything that reminds you of your why. I'm always reading books by my favorite authors, always being inspired, always listening to podcasts, always keeping in the vibration of the people that are my mentors. Like, I always have a mentor, and I normally have 3 mentors. I invest pretty much my entire money into personal development and mentorship, because that's what's got me to where I am now, by learning and listening and being in the vibration of people who've just gone like, screw it, let's do it. Like, all those people, they're the ones that have activated this inside of me. So it's the creativity part is dreaming the biggest dream you can think of. And then you go to what is the intention, and being really clear about the end goal is good. Like, so for me, my clear intention is to nurture the future one baby at a time, and to help all babies across the world reach their full potential through loving and nurturing care by holding safe spaces for parents and carers. So that's the top line for me. And then what's going on down here for me at the moment, these are my actual grounded intentions. I'm writing a book. I am doing a TED talk. I am speaking at some summits. I'm writing some new courses. So these are the things that I'm doing. Like, these are the creative projects that click into the intention. Now, if I show up and do these creative projects, it's going to be pretty hard for this top level thing of impacting more babies to not happen. Do you see what I mean? It's like, if you're doing it, something's got to happen. If you're not doing it, nothing's going to happen. So you have to like be in it to win it. And you must choose things that light you up. So anything that you're doing that comes from a place of, oh, someone told me I should do this, that's got a different energy. It's got a heavier energy. It's much more difficult to get yourself motivated for things like that. So create from a place of joy. For example, over the years, these are some of the things that I've created. Some of them have been more successful than others. So I've created online training programs, retreats. We did a huge event in London called Nurturing the Future, 1001 Days to Save the World. Over 80 people came. It was sponsored by Palmer's. It was a £10,000 event that I held. The reason was because no one would put me on a stage to talk about infant mental health. So what did I do? I built my own stage in London and invited loads of people to come and speak with me. Like, that's what I call proactive leadership. Yeah, I was like, no one's talking about this, so I've got to create it, and then I'm going to go on stage so that I can actually speak about this and share it with people. So I've had product ranges, which we're just bringing back at the moment. I had a product range for many years, baby massage oils, aromatherapy oils, things like that. I've like, whatever floats my boat that is still taking me to the top of the triangle, I just do it. I just think, if it's fun and it's going to help somebody, and it feels good, I'm just going to do it. So it's like giving yourself full permission to express yourself in these things. And if you're enjoying it, you'll want to tell people about it. It won't be a case of, oh, what should I put on social media? It'll be a case of, let me out on social media because I really want to share this, because I'm really excited about it and I know that it's going to create impact. You know, that's why I'm here with this energy for you guys here, because I really want you to do this. It would make me, you know, it's my joy to empower people to do this work. So highest vision, intention, and creativity is the first level of getting things done. And remembering that you're creating consciously and unconsciously all of the time. So for example, if you don't have like if you don't have a chronic health problem, that means that you have an issue with your weight or diet management or something like that. When you're choosing what to eat, you're either supporting your health or you're not. That's the bottom line. I know for some people they might have underlying medical conditions, but I've learned for myself that when I eat good food, I feel better, my body is better, I feel better, I have a different energy. I then wear different clothes and I look better because I feel more confident. And it all just starts with that one choice. Am I going to eat this or eat that? It's the micro. It's the mic. Am I going to go to bed at 10 o'clock, without my phone hanging by my bed? Or am I going to scroll till 1 o'clock in the morning? It's these micro moments. They're so important. And it's the compound effect of this that takes us to where we're going to be. So principle number 1 is intention and creativity. Now, principle number 2 is about consistency and balance. So I want to say something very briefly about this. There's so much I could say on this, but basically in every single person, you have a masculine energy and a feminine energy. The masculine energy is the energy that goes out and gets. It's a linear energy. It's an activation. It's a lead. It's a kind of like a straight line, clarity, feeling. And then the female energy is, I just know that I'm amazing, and I know that I'm bringing my magic into the world, and I'm really open to receive everything from this just by showing up, because I'm a woman and I'm owning it because I'm a creator. And so the feminine energy is all about receiving. It's about beauty. It's about creation. It's about devotion. It's about fluidity and movement and kind of chaos, actually, the feminine, whereas the masculine is like. So what's really important to do is to balance in your day-to-day life your masculine energy and your feminine energy. So if you're too masculine, which I have been this in the past, I'm like, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. What happens is you just get depleted, because your body is, your body can't survive with just that all of the time. And if you look at what's happening in the world with the male leadership, you can see the earth is depleted. We're out of balance, we're out of harmony, because we're too in the masculine. If you're too in the feminine, then you're just not doing anything. You're like, oh, I've got this creative idea, but I'm not ready to give it now. I'm going to wait until this happens. That's when you're too in your feminine. You're too away with the dreams and the magic and the mystery and the, manana and all the rest of it. That is also not going to get you any, as far as you can do. You still receive, and the masculine still receives. But with both of these, they're out of balance. You can get this one, you get depleted. Masculine, you get depleted. Feminine, you get frustrated, or you get like overwhelm. Feminine is very prone to overwhelm. So when you bring them together in harmony, and you get this balance, and it means that you can go the long haul. And that's why I've been in business for 22 years, and I'm still love it, and I'm still energized by it, because I know when I've got to do things, and I know when I need to just be creative and go out in nature and play and kick back and enjoy myself. And because of that, I've been able to go this middle way. So the village visionary knows that she's got to do some things. She's got to do some things, but she's also going to just enjoy some things. So if you're always doing and you're never enjoying, then you're out of balance. And also, quite frankly, it's not a very fulfilling life if you're just doing. Because when you get to the end of your life, you're going to go, yeah, I did a lot of things, but I didn't really enjoy them because I was just doing them. So it's really important, that balance between the two. So with the masculine, the one I put here is consistency. The masculine is about consistency. It's about safety. So if you're doing a little bit of something every single day, by the end of the year, you will be more towards what you wanted than not. So even if you do 20% every single day more of a thing that brings your business more into alignment, that creates more connection, more opportunities, more creativity. By the end of that year, you'll be 20% more creative. You'll have 20% more business, because you consistently did something every day. If you go hell for leather and then crash and then go, I can't do anything, you just get these spikes like this all the time. And then our nervous system goes, what the heck is this all about? This is no way to live. And you're just like, ugh, I'm just going to go and get a 9 to 5 where I just turn up on autopilot, because that's way easier. So, it's about this harmonization of the two. And it's not talked about a lot, this energetic. So, maybe you're thinking, come on here today and I'm going to tell you what to do. You know what to do. You know what to do. There's no shortage of people not knowing what they want to do here. It's the who you are being when you're doing that is affecting your capacity to actually activate it. And this is where the leadership part really comes in, the village visionary energy. There's something else I want to briefly talk about on this. I can't go into it in detail, but for those of you who work with me a bit in more depth, I also very much believe that it's important to work with the elements. Like I said, we're not separate from nature. In nature, you have the elements of the fire, the earth, the air, and the water, and they're also within us, and they represent like our emotion, like our aspects of ourselves. So the air, being in balance with air, means that you stay with your ideas, you're creative, you have your imagination. Being with the fire means that you don't, you keep it burning, the passion is there. You don't want to get that fire to go out, because if you've ever had a fire go out, it takes ages to get it started again. So you keep the fire burning. Like, you need to make sure that you're doing that. The earth is, are you actually taking action? Are you actually bringing it into reality? Are you making the human connections? Are you doing the things that you actually need to do? And the water is your emotions. It's like, how do you feel when you're doing things? Okay, so all of these aspects are really important to balance when you're working. This is how I work in relation to the elements, not in relation to other things. So for example, last week I was way too emotional. I had loads of things going on. I was like, oh, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this. So what I needed to do was bring in the fire, and the fire was, okay, I need to balance the wetness with the heat. I'm going to do things. I'm going to get my list and I'm going to go ching, 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 ching. And then guess what? The imbalance over here of the overwhelm went away because I took action on the fire. Do you see what I mean? Equally, if you're all in the air, like, I've got this idea, 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 there's no earth. You've got to pull it down. You've got to take action because that's why you're stuck up in air. Like, a lot of women I see are stuck in air and water, loads of ideas, but super over emotional about it. And so they can't activate. So you have to be more in the masculine, which is the fire and the earth. So it's so fascinating when you start to look at life like this. It's fun, you know. It's like it's not like, oh, I need to study this course on how to create a funnel or something. It's like, this is how it works, you know. This is the laws of nature, and we are nature. Again, remember what we said at the beginning. So that's number 2, is balance and consistency. Number 3 is about receiving and celebration. So write down something in the chat box now that you want to celebrate about yourself on this moment today. One thing that you want to celebrate yourself about now. Just pop it in the box. Showing up, yeah, amazing. Celebrating you. Personal growth, celebrating you. Bloody turned up for yourself, celebrating you. Being authentic, yeah, absolutely. Good. This is good. I'm pleased to see celebration. Prioritizing walking in the forest for an hour. Yummy. Amazing. Walking, working a way forward. Amazing. Starting my own business. Amazing. Committing to this today. Fantastic. Yeah, okay, keep those celebrations going. So one of the things that is really important, showing up, that was my word too. Perfect. One of the things that's really important is celebrating yourself. So much in life, we don't celebrate ourselves. We just diminish ourselves, or we just let it go. Like, if you actually spend some time and say, like, this is me, this is who I am, this is my light, this is my medicine, I want to celebrate myself, not from a place of like ego, but a place of, I am really excited about this. So the way to discern between, say, like ego, like I want validation from someone, look at me, that's one thing. If you are anything you are genuinely excited about in life, share that shit. That's what I'm going to say to you. Like, share it far and wide, because you're going to be dead soon. And if you're not celebrating your life, you know, there was no point of being here. So more celebration is required for the smallest things in life. This links into gratitude as well. You probably, most of you are probably aware of gratitude practice. Gratitude is one of the frequencies that is the highest. Like, you've got love, you've got peace, you've got gratitude. So this frequency of gratitude, it just means that you see things in a different way. You're like, yeah, you know, like, I've got a laptop, which means I can do a live Zoom to people wherever you are across the world right now. Like, yes, great, rather than, you know, just taking everything for granted. So really starting to appreciate things and celebrate things, and receive things as well. Another thing that sometimes we block is we have all these weird subconscious things that if we are successful as well, that's bad. Like, if you earn money, that's bad. If you're successful, that's bad. If you are too successful, you might have to change, your relationship might change, or your life might change, all of these different things. There's a lot of subconscious beliefs that we hold that actually block us. So some of the exercises that I do, like with my coaching clients, is to actually get rid of the dark, not get rid of it, but illuminate the dark, so that you can transmute that darkness into the light, because it's still part of you. So you want to love it, but it feels heavy. So it's how to bring that again into harmony. This is all about harmony. Like the village is about harmony and balance. Leadership is about harmony and balance. Okay. If you want harmony and balance in your outside life, you have to hold the vibration in your personal life and in your integrity and your values and all of these things. So that's why these two things are very linked. And then the last one is, and I actually, when I came back on from the break, I wanted to just say this to you and I forgot and I've written it down. So that's what I wanted to say to you. The number one thing is trust. And it's trust in the process. And everyone hates that. I don't know why, because it's so, well, because it requires absolute faith and belief that you're worthy and deserving and that you can do anything that you want. And a great exercise of this is just, if you look around your room where you are right now and look at all of the things in your house, like all of those things were created because somebody somewhere in the world, that's them in your room, that's their medicine, that's their energy, that's their creative expression. You're never alone. Like everything that you've got around you is the energy and essence of somebody else. Like I always just get really freaked out by that. I'm like, wow, you know, like I've welcomed all of these different energetic expressions of people into my house, and every one of these people is actually helping me. Like the picture that I have of I don't, you can't see it. I have a picture of a mum and baby here. I don't know if you can see it. You can't really see it, no. There's a really beautiful picture there that I bought myself of a mum and a baby, and every time I look at that, activated. Certain clothes that I have, activated. Jewelry, all of it. It's all, I've chosen it all because it's all part of the overall puzzle. And so we have to trust that everything's always working out for us, even when hard things happen. Okay. So, you know, I've created a lovely fairy story of my life. But during that time, my husband had a life-threatening, almost died stroke when he was 39 and had brain injury. You know, in the time I've had my children, it's been amazing. But obviously, having 3 children with not a lot of money when they were growing up, that was a bit of a challenge at times. I've had health problems. I've also had people that I love, I've lost them. And I got divorced about 3 years ago to my husband that I've been with for 23 years. So, you know, it hasn't been, it's not all been like unicorns and rainbows. And that's made me stronger and made me value things more, not less. That's all I would say. Even through the pain and the upset and the unhappiness that came around those things, they've brought me to this place now. And at this moment now, I'm grateful. Tomorrow I'll be grateful. I just keep going because I'm alive. Because I was on the wake up list today, and not every single person on this planet is on the wake up list every morning. So when you bring it down to that, it really humbles you. And so if someone wants to give you something, open up and receive it, ladies, because it's for you. Yeah, it's for you. When you get that feeling of that's speaking to me, it's because it's for you. So trusting that and trusting the process and trusting that if you start this, that it will manifest. It's been 22 years for me to do this. I'm not someone who goes, you know, I'm going to show you how to make £10,000 in 2 weeks. Okay. That's not my vibe. I'm about sustainable, long-term joy and happiness and prosperity for myself and everybody. And that's the vibes, you know, and I can't go wrong with that. So that's how I show up, and that's why Blossom and Berry is created as it is, because you're a student with us for life. You get unconditional love and support for life. You never leave. You have unlimited trainings year after year after year. You have monthly supervision. We have charitable projects, retreats, we have get-togethers. You can contact me at any time. I mark all your work personally. You can book calls with me for life. I have students from over 10-15 years ago that are still in contact with me. There's never any additional charges, license fees, anything like that. I don't restrict you on your brand. You are free to be your own kind of beautiful, because that, I can't really talk about the village and then say, and by the way, you know, this is my business and, you know, you've got to pay me £5,000 a year, regardless of what's happening to you, and you've just got to do what I say. Like, that's not, can you see where everything has to be in alignment? Otherwise it can't be activated and it can't be successful. And could my business be more successful in terms of money? Maybe. Could it be more successful in terms of number of teachers? Maybe. Am I completely happy with how things are? 100% yes. So that's the only thing that matters, you know. So this is what I want you to take. And again, we go all the way back to where we started at the beginning. It's the remembering of who you are. It's the remembering of what kind of life you want to live for yourself and for your children and for your community. It's you choosing you. That is it. You know, what I've said to you today, for some of you will resonate, some of you will think it's nonsense. It's my truth. That's who I'm here to share that. So now from this, it's you finding your truth and how you want to activate this. And that's the most important part, is that there is activation. Yeah. Being proactive. How you respond to this masterclass will be, you know, the difference between whether you do something or not. And that, you know, whichever one it is, it's not one's right or wrong, but this is an opportunity to really lean into the next level and what it is that you desire to do. So yeah, so that is where I kind of end my transmission. Does anyone want to ask me any questions, put anything in the box? Anyone had any big, like, revelations, downloads, like excitement, anything that you want to share with me here today? Because I've done a lot of talking. What was number 4? Number 4 was receiving and celebrating the hell out of everything. So number 1 was intention and creativity. Number 2 is balance and consistency. Number 3 is number 3 was receiving and celebration. And number 4 was trust the process. Number 4 is trust the process. Yeah. And when you work with me, whether you are part of the Blossom and Berry family and you're taking our courses, we have our wild wellbeing courses, which is tree babies, barefoot beach babies, wild wellbeing. So if you want to hold space for parents and babies in nature, we have the whole suite of courses that do that. We're the only ones in the world that have got these courses at the moment for babies in nature. Or if you want to do nurture, so baby massage, baby yoga, newborn nurture, or diploma that takes you across the full 1001 days of life. In everything I do, this is the vibration. And then I also have my coaching and mentoring. So I mentor pretty much most of the UK's birth and baby business schools to lean into their values and scale like Blossom and Berry has been, because we're now, you know, a multiple 6-figure business, 5 global branches, numerous charitable projects, and we're just expanding more and more into beautiful, beautiful things. So fulfillment and love and success and contentment awaits you for sure. And I love to have any other opportunity to work with me, whether you want to train or mentor or any of the other things that I offer. It would be a joy. So let's have a look about some feedback here. So absolutely love this session. I have to go now, but honoured to have shared this space with you. Thank you, Marta. Kerry says, thank you, Gail. It was a beautiful session. And Marta says, by the way, I'm a student for Wild Wellbeing and completely recommend it if anyone is curious about it. Thank you. And there's some other courses coming along those ways. We're going to have some courses specifically for men called Forest Fathers. We have the earthbound based training that I spoke about, which is going to be called the Together Garden. And I also have a completely separate business that I'm just starting for parents and babies called Nurture Harmonics, which is sound circles as well. So that hasn't even started yet. That's just is in its infancy. So every level of my transformation, there's something new to share. And this is just what I wish for you, is to just to be fully in your creative power and to share your love. So yeah, so again, if you want to read a bit more about this, then my book is there for anyone free today, if it helps you. And what have we got here? Danny says, I can't wait to start training. Amazing. Leanne says, thank you, Gail. I'm feeling inspired again. Michelle's giving loads of love. Holly is so excited and inspired. Jennifer says, thank you, Gail. This session has been inspiring. Bernie says, thanks for the inspo. And Julie says, thank you. Grateful for your time and leadership. Kira says, thank you, Gail. Your workshops always give me the boost. Amy says, amazing session. Thank you. You're an inspiration. Oh, thank you. I'm just being me. So yeah. And like I say, it's always a balance. Light and the dark, masculine and feminine, all of the different elements, the doing and the being. It's just coming back to the middle way all the time and choosing from this place, free will, sovereign choice. Gail, thank you. You're awesome. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, so let's close the session. Let's just close this session with just a little bit of body work. So if we just put our hands on our hearts and just for a moment, just come into this place. So closing your eyes if it feels good, or just lowering them slightly, lowering your gaze. And just taking a few deep breaths just to come into the body, because we've been doing lots of talking, there's been lots of thinking, lots of ideas, possibilities, lots of wisdom. So just receiving all of that. And then just connecting with the body, with your breath. Noticing how you're feeling right now. I'm just going to offer you a couple of affirmations. So it is safe to be a village visionary. It is safe to be a village visionary. It is safe to activate my vision for the world. It is safe to activate my vision for the world. It is safe to be 100% me. It is safe to be 100% me. And just taking a few more breaths, bringing in the medicine of the breath, allowing your body to receive and relax, to integrate. Just take a moment just to be with yourself, just meeting anything that's arising. Just quietening the mind, just opening the heart just for a moment. And just giving thanks for this opportunity to serve parents and babies and to rebuild the village. Being grateful for being in community and receiving. And being grateful for your life, your body, your feelings, your desires, your medicine. And so it is, so it is, and so it is. Okay. I'd just like to float off now. But those affirmations as well, one of the big things is it's safe. It's safe to do these things, to trust yourself. Safe to be you. So, okay, many blessings and love. If you want to see this again, it's coming out on the replay, because to make it really easy for everyone, I know you get really busy. There's actually 3 like little slots of the replay coming out over the next few days, and in there there'll be some extra goodies as well. So even if you don't watch the replay, there'll be some extra bits and pieces on there for you too. Let's stay connected. We have some new things coming out on Saturday that are connected to becoming the Village Visionary, which combine coaching very closely with me and some of our courses. So for those of you who have been inspired and might want to take the next steps, there'll be some information on that coming out on Saturday. But otherwise, the website is always there. You can check out our testimonials, book a call if anything's arisen for you. But thank you for your time. It's a real privilege and honour to be here with you in this space, and I'm sending you so much love. All right then, bye-bye.